Jen, I can smell the sangria from here.
I've seen sangria. Obviously, I can't drink it as a sober Sally, but yeah, there's been big World Cup vibes out here in Barcelona. And so there's been a lot of people every single night until the middle of the night at every bar watching the games. It doesn't matter who's playing. Like, I know America might be done with the World Cup, but it's just getting started out here. It's really fun.
Wait, hold on. Did we lose the World Cup?
We did, in hilarious
and
fashion.
It was humiliating.
Did our red carded anchor baby guy get put back in?
He was.
Okay,
he
good.
played.
Yeah.
It was not his fault that we were fucking humiliated. He did his job.
Okay.
It was, I don't
One
know.
of our star players kicked another dude and injured himself. Our goalie kicked the ground and like missed a pretty easy clearing of a goal. And then it just kind of like, he was so far away from the goal that if you look at the picture, Andrew, you'll be like, what the fuck was he doing so far away from the goal?
Well, or you got out of, It was so disappointing because the team had looked like a real World Cup soccer team in a way that America has never looked like like an actual good team. It was kind of refreshing. And then we played like absolute dog shit and humiliated ourselves on the world stage on our home soil. And that felt more like the way that the U.S. operates at the World Cup.
That seems like we're giving back something to Europe for us to stumble and fall down a flight of stairs. I'm sure that they really enjoyed that.
Yes.
Well, I feel like
Belgium
until Trump
certainly
got
did.
involved.
They were doing the Trump dance
Is
in the
that the one that we fought? Belgium?
Yes, on the pitch.
Oh.
We played Belgium.
Our old nemesis, Belgium.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do have a history with Belgium, and in our history, Belgium has kicked the shit out of us. So this was going back to the way things are supposed to be. Like, from what I understand, we beat the teams we were supposed to beat, and then we played a real team, and it didn't go well. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. Amateur soccer analyst here. Belgium almost lost to Senegal. They're not that great of a team. We just absolutely shit ourselves. Like, there's no excuse for the goals that we gave up. Like, yes, they're good enough to take advantage of us absolutely shitting ourselves, but we absolutely shit ourselves. That's the reality. I don't know. It was very disappointing because I wanted to. Are you transfixed by my
Sorry, real quick.
My water bottle.
Justin apparently has a digital water bottle that's blinking. Like, I'm confused. Like, he has like a Tron water bottle, and I was like, I thought maybe it had like maybe it was a speaker system that was blinking in regards to how loud we were talking. No, apparently it's just a light up water. What futuristic water bottle do you have, Justin?
It filters.
Oh, so okay.
So I can just get I can get random water.
Can you get it out of a creek?
I don't know. I haven't tested it.
So it's like, this is for like tap water.
It's for just
But
water.
not for like creek water. It seems like that doesn't have very much utility then.
But it also tracks how much I'm drinking. So I can throw it into the stew of useless metrics that I keep about myself.
Nice. Does it
This tech
automatically?
thing is going too far. You have a tech water bottle. This is going too far. Just drink water. You'll be fine.
But I want to drink this water, and then I want to have it track how much water I drink, especially in Vegas. To be honest, like, the reason why I brought it here, I've already lost one of these and I had to buy another one, and I'm not even going to fucking tell people how much it costs. But like,
It's hot and arid. I got in last night. Yeah. I drank a lot of water. I drank a Gatorade, drank more water before I went to sleep, and I still woke up with a headache. And the escort was the same way. She left earlier, and everybody has a headache. You got to drink a lot of water here.
You have to drink a lot of water in the summer.
Your canon is just unrepentant whoremonger Andrew Heaton.
I need to come up with a new character. Here's the thing. I find Dick Van Dyke the slut is a funny character in my mind, and I like leaning into like, aw shucks 1950s dude, and then occasionally throwing out really lurid sescapades. I agree. I've overdone this character a bit. I need to come up with some other characters.
Okay. I think he just might be hanging a shingle out there to the world that that might be giving you a reputation.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
You're chasing all the good girls away because they're like, that alley cat's been through each and every one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, slutty Dick Van Dyke would rent that hotel room that you're in with the giant lips on the wall and
That's
the mirror.
true. Yeah.
It's
although we don't. I didn't actually pick the artwork for the hotel room. Normally it's very standard that you get to pick all of the murals that go.
No, you normally send ahead your valet, and you make sure that the artwork is to your liking.
Yeah,
But what whorehouse are you shacking up in?
We're at the Link Hotel, which I gather is a moderate to median hotel experience. We're across from the Venetian.
Yeah, and the newly in construction Hard Rock Guitar Hotel, which will soon to be one of the icons of the Strip because it's fucking massive and it's a huge glittery mirror guitar.
I'm excited for that. I just hope that their pool lives up to their first one because their first one was like a whole beach scene. It was really fun. So I'm excited to see if they replicate that.
Okay, I go back and forth on Vegas whenever I'm here. I like Vegas as a concept because I think like most cities you go to, you're like, how did your city start? And they're like, we built a fort to kill Indians, or we needed coal. So a bunch of very sad people lived in mines for 100 years. And you go to Vegas, you're like, how about you? And they're like, come and gambling. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, that's a good origin story that there's just a desert in the middle of nowhere and a bunch of people went, what if we just had a place for fun? We'll just have a fun. That's cool. I really, really like that.
Yeah, it was a frontier trading post. I always had to remind people that before the East Coast got involved, it was for the shit kickers. Like that is what Vegas is built on. And then the mob looked at it and was like, now this is money laundering. We can really kick this money laundering into high gear if we run it all through these here casinos.
Yeah, I like the idea. I've had good times when I've been here in the past. But like last night when I got in, I was just walking through the hotel. I was like, I can't tell if all the people at slots are deeply sad or happy because they all look happy. But it's like 11 p.m. and they're playing slots. So I can't tell, like, I go back and forth on like, is this like a fun weekend or is this a very sad weekend? I can't really tell.
Have I told you guys that I've fallen into the algorithm of slot influencers?
What? That's a thing?
Oh my God, is it a thing? In fact, like part of me is like on the lookout because there's a few in Vegas. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'll see Jackpot Raj or whatever his name is. But there's one who is my favorite. She is the best. He plays slots actually at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, in the South Florida, the original Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And she will just put in like $2,000 to $4,000 into these machines. And you know by the length of the video, if it's like a minute, you're about to watch $2,000 get fucking set on fire on like $100 rolls, just bop, 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 bop. And she's always upbeat. She's a younger girl. She kind of looks like Emma Stone. And she's just like, oh, I fully believe, puts it in. Sometimes she hits. Most times she doesn't. She just liquidates like $4,000 and it's either we're so back or it's so over. I have no idea. It has to just be a personal money thing.
So she's making money by being an influencer, not by the gambling.
I don't think she is because people will respond to her. Other slot influencers will be like, you need to figure out a new advantage way to play because apparently there's some level that you can hunt machines that are more favorable. You can't hunt one that is due, quote unquote, but you can hunt ones with higher jackpots. So if you hit,
okay,
more.
This is another reason that I have mixed feelings on Vegas. Like that's probably my fourth or fifth time in Vegas over the course of my life. The first 2 or 3 times I was like, oh, good, like blackjack. I want to play that blackjack game.
Yeah,
and like now that I'm in my 40s and I have like bare minimum understanding of statistics. I'm like, well, I know I'm going to lose money at anything I do here. So it has to be a video game that I would play for free. And I'm like, no, like the slots just don't appeal to me at all. I don't see I put my money in, a robot farts, and then my money's gone. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, all of gambling in general, and Vegas in specific, is commoditized risk as entertainment.
Okay.
If you enjoy the idea of risk, then Vegas is going to be, gambling will be enjoyable for you because you will have a little bit of that adrenaline, you'll have a little bit of that excitement, and then you go forward. Now, I believe that we need to be gambling more as a country because I believe we are under indexed on risk. I think that we play too safe. We get too obsessed with the numbers and we get too obsessed with saying, oh, okay, well, like what you just said, the statistics show that these gigantic glittering palaces aren't made on a fair bet. The house will always take more, but why not me?
Hold on, but that's not risk. That like buying a lottery ticket's not risk. Buying a lottery ticket is I am almost certainly going to lose, but I'm gonna do this on the off chance. Like risk, I feel like you need to have like a possible route. Whereas like, I don't know, if I might go gambling here, but it'll be an entertainment activity where I know I'm going to lose the money. Like
It's a risk. Like you're risking like $100 because if you lose, you're getting nothing back, but it's just like the risk
We're
reward.
betting on baseball, but we're betting on baseball. We're not here.
But I'm not.
We're gonna do it.
I'm not risking.
You should
it,
bet on World Cup.
Because
we can.
Maybe I will. I'm not risking it though because I'm allocating an amount of money that I'm okay losing. That like I'm spending the money, not risking the money.
Well, you're smart.
risking the money when you
A
can.
lot of us are just risking the money.
Yeah. I
Like
don't know.
people will risk their homes and shit.
No, again,
Like,
commoditize risk as entertainment. It is not you risk unless you are really into like, no, I'm going to bet my, the money I need to pay my bills. Then you're really, really risking. I don't think that is healthy.
Yeah.
I do think what you're saying, taking a little bit that you could lose, and then saying, all right, I'm going to put this in play.
Yeah, which I'm fine with that. Like I haven't gone to the horse races in years, but I actually do like horse racing, and I view it as an entertainment expense. Like I allocate about as much money as I would spend going to the movies and buying popcorn and whatnot, and then I blow it at the rate. If I take it home more, terrific. But if I don't, that's all right. Like it was me spending money.
They got robot horse racing down here at this casino.
What?
Yeah, there's little like miniaturized
robot. What?
Yeah, and they
The
gallop.
fuck did you just say? Where is this?
At the link?
There's robot horses at
There's
the lake.
actually one downtown that is fully mechanical. Like that was like old school. And they transferred it from one casino to another. People can look this up. And because it's beloved in downtown Las Vegas, they had a big parade to bring the machine physically from one place to another. And because it's got little jockeys, they had little person jockeys with them to bring the machine from one casino to another.
You're blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I'm here now. I was kind of either or. But like, okay, so do the robot horses race each other?
Yes.
Like, okay.
It is a simulated horse race.
Are there robot jockeys or are there real jockeys?
No, it's like a tabletop game.
I guess if it was
it's like foosball for horse racing.
Oh.
the jockeys aren't real.
I'm less enthused now. I thought there was like literally like
in the casino floor.
Hey, Vegas, like another thing I'll give to Vegas, it does a lot of really big stuff for spectacle and luxury for the average man. It's very like that canal over at the Venetian's really impressive. If Herodotus were to see that, he would have put it in the 7 wonders of the world. It's very impressive. So wouldn't blow my mind if
Herodotus would have seen it, he would have jizzed his sheep.
So I thought maybe there's a whole arena with robot horses. It was just a foosball table. I'm less excited.
If you want to see real ass jockeys, though, they have that at the Excalibur because they have their version of medieval times.
They do.
So you can go there, get the little crown.
Have you seen it, Jen? At the Excalibur?
No, I mean, I've been to medieval times.
Tournament of Kings. I saw it a couple years ago. It's delightfully low rent.
Okay, I might go do that.
Everything about Excalibur is. That's why it's my favorite hotel.
So there's basically a medieval times hotel. All right, next time I'm here, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. We didn't talk about it because I feel like it's not on the sheet because I feel like we just did one last week of politician that's incapacitated and we don't know, we've kind of had this topic a few times, but I feel like it does bear mentioning that Mitch McConnell, a lot of rumors surrounding Mitch McConnell that he might be brain dead, that he might be only holding out so the Democratic governor of Kentucky cannot call a special election. Yesterday, in what appears to be a coordinated attempt, either because Mitch McConnell can actually make phone calls or because loyal people to Mitch McConnell want to fan the smoke away. Many people, most notably CNN, Scott Jennings, said that he received a call from Mitch McConnell. They spoke for 30 minutes about varying different topics. What do we think? What do we believe?
I don't tend to believe Scott Jennings about anything. I don't know. As long as the man's alive, all I know is that he gets to keep his Senate seat. So unless someone's got proof that he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, there's a weird catch-22 in here because even if he wanted to resign, he has to be conscious to do so. So if he's in a vegetative state, then we're kind of just stuck with vegetable Mitch McConnell. Like, unless the Senate wants to expel him, but with this Senate being Republican, they wouldn't want to do that because then Bashir, who's a Democrat, would replace Mitch McConnell. So it's like, if he is in fact unconscious and has been for 3 weeks, we kind of just have to sit and wait anyway.
Listen, Mitch McConnell is sharper than ever. Mitch McConnell, I struggle to keep up with him. Every day I struggle to keep up with him, and he is top of his game, and he is going to beat Donald Trump in the election. You don't switch a horse in the middle of the robot race.
I don't know if Jennings would go out and lie and not have gotten a call. Whether or not it is to the level that he portrayed it, of like, we talked about a variety. We talked about the upcoming Kentucky Wildcats basketball team, and also Iran, and also this, that, and the other, and also what we had for lunch. It's like, I don't know if it wasn't like, I've gotten very sad phone calls from people that were in the hospital that were toward the end, and I talked to them, whether or not they just kind of grunted back to me is a different story. But I don't know. My guess is alive, not fully vegetative, but the prognosis is not good.
Is it? I don't like to traffic in conspiracy theories, but with people that have been in office a long time, they have extremely loyal staffs that want to insulate them. I know of a couple of situations where a person with a high-powered federal job was like completely checked out and was insulated by their staff as long as they could possibly do. With Mitch McConnell, like, I'm guessing, one, his staff probably amuses themselves by doing Mitch McConnell impressions. Two, it's not that hard. A Mitch McConnell impression is basically sad Jimmy Stewart. Like, imagine Jimmy Stewart now remove about 30% charisma. Oh, hello, it's Mitch McConnell. I'm here on the phone. No, I'm as harder than ever when we talk to you about the Wildcats. Like, is it possible that just like one of his Senate aides is phoning in a Mitch McConnell impression to this guy?
Respect to your commitment to getting off a Mitch McConnell impression, and you're using his possible deathbed to be like, look, there's only so many more times that I'm going to be able to do it.
Although legit, there is enough audio of him that you could AI a little conversation with the dude. I mean, that's one of the things we've talked about on this show is that we're a little concerned with how much audio there is of us. There's plenty of McConnell from the Senate floor going back 20 years. I don't think that's actually what's happening. I would place more money on Scott Jennings being a liar, but we'll see.
So who's Scott Jennings?
Scott Jennings is now the token conservative on CNN.
Okay.
He is great on TV. In my opinion, it is, CNN's hatred of money and success that they don't give him a primetime show because it would be the most watched thing on cable because it would trigger all the right people and it would get a demographic that CNN doesn't have to watch. But he's from McConnell world. Like, he is an ex-McConnell guy.
Okay.
So it's like, there is a group chat that knows everything and that is plotting what they're going to do and how they're going to talk about things. And I would assume Scott Jennings is on it. For the record, I would also assume that the Ruthless podcast, which is a big influential conservative podcast, I'd assume they're on it too, because they're all McConnell world as well. So anything that you hear from those two, like, that's where you would look to see how things are going to be shaped. I would assume I have not listened to Ruthless in the last few episodes, so like they might not have said anything, and they certainly have enough to talk about on the Democratic side recently to kind of fill their show. But I would guess that those are the people that you were going to look for.
Nice burp.
Excuse me, sorry. Little indigestion.
From glittering Las Vegas, Nevada, I'm Justin Robert Young.
I'm Andrew Heaton.
And from Barcelona, España,
I'm Jen Briney.
and we're not wrong on this edition of the program. We're going to talk about the end of Graham Platner's career, ? Still has not happened. Looks likely, according to CNN. And then some troubling demographic trends. The missing middle. We have a shrinking 45 to 64 population. What could be causing it? All that and your emails. Graham Platner's Maine Senate campaign has canceled upcoming fundraisers and paused Facebook and Instagram ads as pressure grows for him to drop out. The move follows a Politico report in which a woman who dated Platner accused him of forcing her to have sex. Platner denies the allegation and says he is reflecting on his candidacy. Many Senate Democrats and former supporters now want him replaced before the July 13th withdrawal deadline. Donors are backing away, including organizers of a canceled virtual fundraiser. Maine Democrats are preparing a quote-unquote open and inclusive process to choose a replacement if Platner exits. Just a list of the notable Platner supporters who have dropped him over the last 48 hours, because this is no longer just the establishment. This is now the progressive heavy hitters. Most notably, the first among equals, Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani, who shares a key advisor with Platner, Elizabeth Warren, Ro Khanna, who came and did a event for Platner after the first New York Times articles hit before his primary, Ruben Gallego, and influential Twitch streamer Hassan Piker. Jen Briney, should Platner drop out? And why was this the story to force him out and not the previous ones?
I expect him to drop out any minute now. And basically, he has no support in the party. So I just don't see how he can go the distance. So it's like, regardless of what you think about the accusations at this point, it's just not politically wise for him to stay in it. It's better for the Democrats to replace him. And so if he cares about the party, that's what he'll do. As for the allegations, like, they're really disappointing. This one seemed like more of a red line for me because with the first New York Times article, the ex-girlfriend was a Republican operative. So there was a lot of just like, I don't know if I trust this chick. But now we have like more ex-girlfriends coming forward. This one is a Democrat. She said that was one of the reasons that she actually didn't come forward earlier. It's not just a rape accusation. She also said that he would take off condoms in the middle of sex. You're
conflating two things. The one that the CNN one said that he came in the middle of the night when he was not asked, had sex with her, finished the act while she was not on birth control, and then, that was that. She said that she cut it off after that. The taking the condoms off in the middle of sex is that same Republican operative, or the woman that wound up going into. That was a separate story on the Washington Post, just to keep.
Oh. So she's adding more stuff after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust the Republican one. And I think one of the big...
Why now? If this, because the woman who was on the CNN article she was quoted in the New York Times article. She was upset that the New York Times didn't run with more of what she told them, but they were all part of the same
story. Wasn't she anonymous
story.
in the first one?
She was anonymous in the New York Times article.
So anonymous sources in a political hit piece, I didn't know who to trust there. Like, there was one person who was named. She was a Republican operative. That one's easier for me to dismiss.
Former Republican operative, but she eventually...
Regardless, like, you're asking me who I trust. I do think that was a possible political hit job. Now I'm leaning towards maybe it's not. More likely it's not, because there is someone corroborating that I don't think has any political reason to do this. What's just like shocking to me is with all of this stuff coming out, how the fuck did the Democratic Party, with all of their consultants and all of the money sloshing around in their organization, not vet this guy at all? Because it's like there's too many people now that are coming forward. It's like, I just don't understand. And I keep thinking about the conventions. Like we all went to the conventions and it's like the Republican Party convention was perfect. It was perfect. They had one location. Security took 2 seconds. I always felt safe there. It was just a well-run machine. And then the Democrats were an absolute shit show, to the point of like ditching all of the delegates one night. They like took all the buses to take VIPs to go see some celebrity that was performing somewhere and left all of the delegates and all of the media with no way to get to the other bubble. Like, so when I think about the Democratic Party as an organization, and then I see that they have this candidate who was like one of their biggest stars, the Senate kind of rests possibly on this seat, and they don't know any of this. Like, how the fuck is that possible? So it's just, I'm kind of baffled by the whole thing. I'm disappointed mainly because as the host of Congressional Dish, I'm horrified by the Republicans' refusal to do any oversight over the Trump administration. I would like to see a party who gives a damn about that part of their job take over during the last 2 years of the Trump administration. And like, that's just seeming less possible because A, this guy has serious problems, and B, the Democrats just didn't do their fucking homework. So it's, yeah. So it's like, yes, I believe it. Yes, red line. Yes, I'll eat the crow, Justin. Nom, nom, nom. Yeah, it's
crow.
But I don't understand I don't understand the Democrats.
Well, let me ask you this. So, like, is part of your disappointment in this because you assumed that there had been more vetting done because there would not have been this level of push? I mean, like, Graham Platner was being discussed as the heir to Bernie Sanders, like not just a person that's going to win a Senate seat, but like the prince to a movement. And did you just kind of, it sounds like what you are saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you just assumed that that came with more due diligence, because why would you pin this much hope and hype on a guy that is like now revealed to be what many had said, but the people didn't want to believe was just a haunted house of terrible things?
I don't know how much I assumed it, because during the primary, the establishment wanted Janet Mills, who's like an old lady. She's been in Maine politics forever. So it doesn't really surprise me, because the party wasn't putting all of their eggs in the Platner basket. But as he was getting more and more popular, and like, I think the reason I'm personally disappointed is because I liked the guy. Like, I liked the interviews that I heard from him. I liked that he was a veteran at a time when we were just going to war and supporting a war with no consent from Congress. Like, I think we do need more veterans there to have that perspective in Congress. I liked that it seemed like he was a business owner, like a small business owner, not some fucking corporate titan.
Very, very, very small business, but
no, literally. But like, I run a very small business, and I've seen in legislation how the incentives tend to go towards larger businesses. Even if there's like 2 or more employees, the businesses that have like a employee get left out on a lot of stuff.
In terms of customers served, Congressional Dish makes Platner's oyster farming look like Walmart. You know, like you are McDonald's compared to the amount of customers he serves, because his is his mom.
Still, I liked the guy. Like, yes. I wanted to like the guy, you know, and it's, he said a lot of things that sounded true to me, and I'm just like really disappointed in his conduct. But am I surprised after seeing how the Democrats operate in person, seeing how they wanted Janet Mills? Like, I guess I could actually see how this happens, because they want Janet Mills. They're going to tip the scales in her favor if they can. They couldn't. This guy's an insurgent. They never really wanted him to begin with, but still. Like,
I mean, one thing though, and I'll get Heaton in here next, but I'm going to say a sentence that I do not often say. I have to defend Chuck Schumer here. He didn't do any of this. Now, you can criticize him for not putting forth a better candidate than Janet Mills earlier, and people have. But in terms of the vetting, that's all on the fight agency. That's all on the progressive movement. That's all on the senators that are comprising this fight club that are looking to unseat Schumer. They believed in this. If they were going to do it, this is an insurgent candidate. The lack of vetting, you can't blame on the establishment because they did not want him. They tried to knock him out. Heaton, your thoughts?
That's fair.
I think Kamala Harris should replace him. I think Kamala Harris should be like just the go-to substitute candidate. I think we've got a good role for her and a good niche for her. Yeah. Okay. So I agree, Justin, on that. Like the establishment didn't want Graham Platner. Like I've been all these think pieces that I've been reading of the evil Democratic establishment can't handle anybody that doesn't have the neoliberal blah, 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 blah. Like, yes, the establishment didn't want this guy for multiple reasons. Partly because the establishment doesn't like leftist economics as much, but also partly because he was an erratic, shitty candidate. There were lots of problems with the guy, like the Nazi tattoo and the random trolling bullshit comments on Reddit. Now, in isolation, any one of these things could be a very explainable, innocent mistake. I took that position on the Nazi tattoo back when we talked about that. When you start looking at successive situations of very poor judgment, you see a pattern. And this is a guy that has exercised poor judgment repeatedly in a way that makes him an erratic and not stable candidate. And that was part of the calculus that the Democratic Party had with him, going, hey, like he's not, this isn't a good candidate. And I think part of the reason he got through was people that are more of the leftist persuasion were so excited to have a young, handsome vet guy that they wanted to believe in him. And I don't think he was, removing economics from the situation, I don't think he was ever a very strong candidate. I think that there were always going to be a lot of problems with him. In terms of why this story as opposed to any of the other ones, I think that the preponderance of evidence has become too great to ignore or give the benefit of the doubt to. I think we are in a period of, like, regarding the political operative that Jen brought up. I don't disagree with the logic there. It's not that I think that Republicans are inherently immoral or dishonest. I think we are entering a period of such high partisanship and such high stakes in our republic that when you have a high-profile election, is there going to be some portion of people from the other team that think the following? The fate of our country is hinging on this election. The guy over there didn't rape me, but he absolutely is the kind of guy that would rape me. And wouldn't it be better for me to fudge a story in order to shoot down his shitty campaign and save our republic? I think we're going to encounter more of that moving forward on both sides. And I don't like any of this, and we should take all accusations very seriously. But I think that we're apt to see more stories like that moving forward from very, very, very strong partisans that are willing to say such things, or at least this is a possibility. So having multiple women come out, having women of different political orientations makes it more cohesive that this is a pattern that he has with women, and it became, problematic. That was I didn't have a problem, or excuse me, I was willing to think that the Nazi tattoo was an accident, but I think for a lot of people that were willing to give it the benefit of the doubt on a couple of these things, once we got to rape, it's like no, this is too much.
Yeah. Can I go back to shitting on the Democrats? Like,
please do.
As a party.
Yeah.
Because, you're absolutely right. They wanted Janet Mills. Where's their opposition research? The establishment didn't want him. So don't they hire opposition researchers to find this shit? Because somebody did.
Shouldn't they have nuked him from orbit if this stuff was there? I mean, they did surface a bunch of the other Reddit comments that the Platner campaign admits now that they never surfaced. So there was more stuff that they had.
I don't know that they could have found the rape allegations, though. It's not like those were public, right? Like the woman that you mentioned, Jen, that was hesitant to come out because she likes Graham Platner's politics, she had not made this public. So I don't know that they would have been able to find that.
She was anonymous in that New York Times article. somehow the journalists got them when they did. Like, I think the Democrats are getting extremely lucky that the deadline for this guy to drop out and then be able to replace him is still in the future. Yes, even though it's 4 days, it's still
Kamala Harris.
Days. They're getting very lucky with that. But these women were out there. These accusations were out there. And like the Democrats didn't find them. The Democrats.
I think let's say they'd gone 100% full blown on this. Nazi tattoo, Reddit comments, $75,000 high school experience, and rape allegations. I think when we started having like rape
allegations. Which, by the way, they had all of them but the rape allegations, and nobody gave a shit. It was like, stop trying to put your thumb on the scale, Chuck Schumer. You're fucking just trying to hold on to your job. The future is here. Graham Platner is the new progressive kingmaker.
Yeah, I think the response would have been, look how terrified the neoliberal establishment is. They're willing to make up shit to shoot down this guy. Like, I don't know that there was a situation where the Democrats were able to knock him out and it not be spun as this is them making up bullshit in order to stop dangerous opinions that will shake the core of the establishment.
Well, I mean, if we're believing all of it now, I don't see why we wouldn't believe it if it was coming earlier in the process.
Maybe, but again,
I'm just saying there's an enormous amount of fucking money that goes into the Democratic Party. This is their job. This is their job. And they're not doing it. Like,
but this one is on the progressives. The progressives have to clean their own house if they're gonna
them too.
Yeah.
There's small dollar donations that they're collecting us like and these apps. Like, where's it going?
Jen,
what are they doing with it?
The consultants are fucking parasites and they should all be kicked out. Like, I'm not trying to stand up for them, but I am saying, like, in this situation, though, it sounds like they got everything except for the rape allegations that were not raised until after he was a candidate.
Well, the rape allegations are the only ones I really give a shit about, because I still believe that you can get that tattoo when you're drunk with your friends and not know that's a Nazi insignia because it's basically a skull. Like, I had no idea. Reddit post, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. He knew when he's lying about it. And that's the other problem, is that I think he is being pushed out now for two reasons. Number one, about a month ago, he came to the Democratic Senatorial Committee and all the Democratic senators all met with him. They knew that this New York Times article was about to drop, and they asked him point blank, what is coming? What is coming next? And he explained what he understood was going to be in the New York Times article. He explained his position on it. They found that to be enough to get over. And then Elizabeth Warren specifically, this is reported, asked him, is there anything else? And he said no. So there's, number one, an element of broken trust that, like, you don't know, you're either lying to us or you don't know what else is coming. We cannot accurately bank on who you are. The second thing is, there's more coming. This is not the end of it. And that's the other reason why I think the progressives are running away. You had, and I spent the last 48 hours just scraping the fucking bottom of, Twitter to like see who's saying stuff and what persuasion they are. There are deep progressives that are like, this is what they have on them. It's a nude, allegedly, reportedly, not saying this actually exists. This is alleged, reported, parody. Don't sue me. It is a nude sent on Kick, that website that he had an active profile on.
That even I don't know about that website.
Yeah.
To let you know how scuzzy that fucking thing is, even I don't know about that website.
This coos hound is in the dark. So it's, and you don't know who, I mean, it could be painted that it could have gone to somebody underage. And then the second is rumors about his service in Iraq and whether or not he frequented a brothel that was not exactly checking IDs. That is those are rumors, right? So let's say
that's what Justin got from the Twitter cesspool.
Okay. From progressives warning the party that this is what the Republicans are waiting to drop until after the deadline. That's who was ringing the bell on that kind of stuff. Now, is it true? I don't know. Could Republicans prove it? I don't know. Here's what I do know for sure. His polls have been fucking tanking since the New York Times article. He was running. He was running about 10 points ahead of Susan Collins. Before the Politico article, he was running either about a point or even behind Susan Collins. They had been sinking consistently, and that's before a rape allegation drops. And that's the other problem, is that the coalition that was powering him to those numbers when they were good were well-educated women. He wasn't doing well with men, and he certainly wasn't doing well with men without a college degree, which is how he was portraying himself. He was doing well with well-educated women, and now the things that are coming down the pike are about him being totally shitty to exactly the demographic that he needed to win.
Wait, hold it, Justin. Political question for you.
Yeah.
If between now and Monday, it turns out that Susan Collins is also a serial rapist, is it possible that he can pull this out?
That was maybe one of the funniest parts of the Platner campaign, is that they briefly were like, hey, you know Susan Collins was fucking her husband when her husband was still married. And it's like, yeah, that was a sex scandal before the Berlin Wall fell, dude. Like, this is not going to have the same punch. They've been married for 25 years. Like whatever that had has come and gone. This is not the same as just being a serial pussy hound that apparently has a reputation with every woman in Maine, including like to know, like, oh, he got a drunk tattoo. There was a progressive on Twitter that was like, look, I am staunch progressive. I'm a progressive organizer. I slept with Graham Platner when he was cheating on a woman that he was his fiance before this current wife. I'm mostly pissed at him because he borrowed a pie plate from me and never returned it. But he taught me what the name Totenkopf was. Like, he is lying about this thing because she brought it up while they were laying in bed post-coital. And he was like, yeah, you know, I got it. I was dumb when I was in the Marines, but I'm keeping it on me to remind me that we were the bad guys in Iraq. That's what he told a progressive organizer in Maine.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I do wonder with Graham Platner, like, I wonder if some of the stuff he doesn't even remember, because it sounds like he had a pretty serious alcohol problem. And I know that if you black out, sometimes you do things and you don't even know.
Back in my heavy drinking days, I became an oyster farmer. A couple years, mostly just sold to my mom after I graduated from high school that charges $75,000 per year.
By the way,
rich kids cosplay, proletariat.
I found out that the school he went to, Hotchkiss Academy, like the richest person I know went to that school. Like a person that I know that it's like a venture capitalist that spends, like, this is the upper echelon of upper echelon.
You know, it's $75,000 to graduate that high school. It's either per year or per year. Is it $75,000 per year? So more than all of my university combined.
Yeah.
By a significant amount.
And that was, I mean, inflation adjusted. I mean, that was when he was a kid. So I'm sure it's probably more now.
Which like I love to make fun of, but I actually think makes him, that's something that's bad for a candidate. Like,
being rich,
being a rich kid cosplaying as a proletariat, I think is like that is
tending to be poor.
That is it is, I think, distasteful to if you don't already like and agree with him, it's seen as posing.
Yeah, also it makes you a liar. That's the other thing is, and Jen, to your point, is like, oh, how much of it does he remember? He had a serious drinking problem. I agree, he had a serious drinking problem. Guess what he still does? Drink at his events. And so it's like, okay, you had a serious drinking problem. What, did you take steps? Did you go to, you know, how did this ramp down? Like, how do we even know when his Kik account is still active?
The thing it sounds like he has some amends to make.
Well, it's like, it becomes, can you even trust what he is saying? And
that's
beyond,
a no.
Yeah, and it's no. It's absolutely no. All right. So we think he's going to be out today, and he might be out by the time that you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on Thursday morning. But
who do you think would replace him? Because
Kamala Harris. This is a no-brainer, Jed. Come on.
Okay, Andrew.
There is somebody that I brought. Speaking of me trolling through progressive Twitter, you know,
Heather Cox Richardson already said no.
Well, Seth Moulton is the guy that they would have wanted to. He has won repeatedly in a red district. However, I have on good authority him and Susan Collins have a non-aggression pact that goes back years and years. She has helped him. He has helped her. He would never run against her. Also, he's not running for a seat again. So,
well, isn't he in Massachusetts too?
oh no,
He's a Massachusetts
Golden.
resident.
Is it Golden or Moulton? One of the two.
Jared Golden is from Maine.
Golden is from Maine. Sorry, not Moulton. Golden. Yeah, he's the one that has the non-aggression pact with Susan Collins. They're never going to run against each other. He has already said he's not going to do it. There's a bunch of random people that didn't win in the gubernatorial primary that are going to possibly be in whatever fucking Mainer fuck show this
So they got no one.
convention's going to be. Nobody at the name ID of Platner. Platner is apparently holding out to try and get a more progressive person ahead in that process. But like, I don't know, his name is Mud, so him endorsing somebody is not going to be a plus for them. There's one idea, and this is where I'm scraping progressive Twitter.
Stephen King.
Bona fide progressive progressive stances, stuck up for Gaza when it was politically not expedient and commercially not expedient for her, born in Maine, and has the trust of moms everywhere throughout the state, Miss Rachel.
Oh, that would be amazing. I don't think she'll do it. She's got a pretty good gig.
The children's show host?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah, she's like
currently
a good person,
teaching
which at this point is all we were really looking for.
Yeah. I have mixed thoughts as a father of a 2-year-old about Miss Rachel currently, but yeah, that was no, she has no indication that she's going to run, but she was born in Maine. People have run on less. No, it looks like there's a few people whose name I don't even, I'm not going to commit to memory until it actually becomes a thing. But yeah, there's another dude who wears a shirt with his name on it that may or may not actually be rich and have thrown a wine bottle at a woman's head. That is somebody that is out there, but who knows? We'll circle back on this next.
I mean, for the record, at this point though, it's late enough in the game against an extremely established and otherwise popular incumbent. Like, isn't this an attaboy at this point for if he drops out, it's just to spare basically the party. It's to minimize damage. It's not to actually pull it out of the fire. So whoever they bring in, that'll just be like a, hey, good job, maybe next time character.
Well, I think part of it is you want to get out. If anything relating to underage anything was coming, and that's what the Republicans were sitting on, and that destroys all of this Epstein class kind of like a thing that is going to be a huge part of what the Democrats are running on in this midterms. Like, I think they wanted to get out from under that, as fast as possible. And that's why you've seen the progressives en masse, just like, wham. When you go from Hassan Piker and Bernie Sanders, like both getting the fuck out, like the building is on fire that quick, I don't think it's just the Politico article. I think that they believe that they can't trust him, at the very least, they can't trust him to say that there's nothing else coming, or that he didn't message somebody that was underage on Kick, or he didn't visit some horrifying brothel in Iraq.
I think that does it for me. Hassan Piker seems like a good judge of character. So if that fella doesn't stand by our man Graham Platner, I think I'm out. I mean, look, I officially pull my endorsement at this moment of Graham Platner.
As to the electoral thing, I mean, obviously, you would have wanted the idea of who Graham Platner was. That turned out to be a Potemkin village. Graham Platner for progressive turned out to just be like that city on the border of North Korea that like looks amazing. And then you cross and you find out that it's all like a Wild West set with just like unpainted plywood. Except this time the plywood was on fire and possibly gave you an STD.
Good analogy.
Patreon.com/we're not wrong, where you need to go. We're going to talk about the increasingly two-tiered system of air travel. Are we creating an underclass of air travelers? That's going to be our Patreon episode. And since that conversation will probably take about 3 minutes, we'll just talk about the other stuff.
I found like mind-blowing statistics on stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about that story.
Good. But yeah, go ahead, support us. It's a fun time. It makes us money, and we love money.
What a pitch, Justin.
That's going to be our new slogan. We're not wrong.
When's this?
We love money.
This is going to drop on Thursday. I wonder if I should like solicit Venmo that I promised to gamble with or something. Like,
yeah. I already got $20 to put everything on. I put $20 on odd.
Okay.
How long are you there for?
I'm not doing bets for you, but if you want to give money to Mighty Heat
unsolicited,
I will piss it away on gambling.
But how long are you there for?
Till Sunday.
Okay. Because I would like for you guys to put money on Spain, not for me, because that I don't. think
I'm betting on Spain. I'm betting on Spain. Fuck these Belgians. These Belgians can get wrecked.
Yeah, it's going to be real fun out here in Spain on Friday night. The game starts at 9 p.m. for us out here. We are going to. This place is going to go wild. I'm super excited.
I mean, 9 p.m. in Spain is noon. That's everywhere else.
I know. It's like 20 minutes after sunset. It's still like 90 degrees at 9 p.m. So it's like no one's out in the middle of the day. Everyone's going out at night. I've been up till 1 a.m. every single night that I've been here because it's the only time to like go outside. So the fact that it lands at Friday at 9 p.m., like, let's go. It's going to be so fun.
All right, let's talk about the missing middle. America's 45 to 64 population fell by 2.68 million between 2020 and 2025, according to new census estimates, creating what Axios is calling the missing middle demographic. The group, which consists mostly of Gen Xers and younger boomers, declined 3.2% nationally, with the Northeast and Midwest hit hardest. Meanwhile, Americans 65 and older grew 16.2%, and the median age rose to 39.4. The concern is that fewer mid-career adults means fewer experienced workers, caregivers, civic leaders, and peak earners supporting local tax bases. The South, by the way, was the only region where this age group slightly grew. Mr. Andrew Heaton, who kidnapped the missing middle, and should we even try to get him back?
I think Graham Platner probably one of his hijinks. I think that this is emblematic of a larger story that you're seeing play out across the world, and you will hear far more about moving forward in the United States, which is that we have a dependency ratio issue, which is a complicated way of saying we have more old people than young people, and that ratio is getting more lopsided as time goes on. It's not unique to the United States. It's pretty much everywhere, but particularly in the developed world. And a lot of the programs that we started were, like Social Security, were predicated on there being a big base of young people being able to work and provide for a small peak of older people. And as that ratio changes over time, it puts stresses on the entire system. Some of the other things that I find interesting that are pointed out in the article are there are elements to it that aren't just age-related, but geographic. So like in England, a perennial problem that they've got in England is that London is a massive brain drain on everywhere that's not London. There's a tremendous amount of intellectual capital that flows south from England to London, and that makes it difficult to build up and run things in the rest of the country. In a similar way, the article points out that if you're having a exodus of people that are peak career from northeastern states to the Sun Belt, you're going to lose out in a certain amount of institutional clout. I question the tax-based thing. I guess that makes sense at a state level for income tax, but most localities are done by property tax. And so like if you have older retired people in nice homes, I think that it's probably going to stay the same. So I don't know that it would have a huge effect on municipality to municipality, but it might in terms of starting companies, running things like that. But the overall bit that I take from that is it's one more concern that people have on the nature of the aging population. I am not apocalyptic about this. I do think that it's a concern. I kind of think we're going to be able to not automate our way out of it, but I think that we're going to be able to automate so much that a lot of the more dire scenarios are unlikely to happen, but we're probably going to have to restructure stuff at some point either way.
Jen, what are we going to do with these Gen Xers and younger boomers?
The only reason that we care about this, and I say we in quotes, is because the boomers are afraid that we're not going to be able to take care of them. They have all the money, they have all the houses, and now it's like, but who's going to take care of us when we're older? Because we've known forever that there was a huge baby boom. That's why they're called baby boomers, and that there was going to be a.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. And so now they're getting older. They want us to pay more taxes to support them because it's always about supporting the baby boomers. And now we're getting the articles being like, who's going to support the baby boomers? How about you take all that fucking money that you have and support yourselves? That's what I have to say to the baby boomers.
Means tested Social Security. We're all of one mind on this.
I'm not with you on that one because like I do feel like I've paid into that system. I would like to get some money back. I'm just like, I'm not crying crocodile tears for the boomers right now. If you want to have more money, sell your giant house to a family that is currently living in a 2-bedroom. Like there's things that they can do.
I understand, but this is like the tail end of the baby boomers that are in this cohort.
Yeah,
and it's
so it's just beginning.
No. This is the end. They're transitioning out of the demographic we're talking about is 45 to 64, right?
Oh,
so
yes,
like,
yes, you did say that. Sorry.
So that is like mostly Gen X now. It's mostly people that were like old enough to, see Pearl Jam for $5.
Okay.
Do we have nothing? So do we think that it's a problem, I guess?
I think the dependency ratio is a problem. I think that is the thing. We're gonna we're gonna have to change stuff. Like we can't have Social Security go at the same mechanisms it's been doing. We're either gonna have to do means testing, or we're gonna have to privatize something, or we're gonna have to.
No, we don't, Andrew.
If I can finish, Jen.
Okay.
Or we're gonna have to uncap it and change it from a pension program into a wealth transfer program. But there's no way that it can just go on as it is. It's going to have to fundamentally change, or we're going to have to alter stuff.
Right now, there's a cap on income where you just like stop paying Social Security. So at our income level, like we pay the full percentage, but like really, really rich people are not paying that. And it's a pretty low cap. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's
$180,000 a year.
Yeah, that's like pretty fucking low. And so if you had everyone making over 180,000 paying the same percentage that we have to pay, that would significantly increase the trust fund. We don't have to privatize it. I mean, that's part of the scam for people that want to privatize it and have all of our retirement in the stock market. Like this is the one thing that is government guaranteed. And I don't think the solution is to require all of us to go on our own.
All I said was we're going to have to fundamentally change something. If we were to uncap it, that would be fundamentally changing it. The reason that we cap Social Security presently is because it's a pension program and you get a certain amount of money based on how much money you put in. So if you uncap it and you have people pay into it at a huge amount, they get a huge amount out on the back end, and it ends up being net neutral. Now you can say we're going to uncap it and we're going to cap benefits, but at that point you have changed the program from a pension program to a wealth transfer mechanism. We can talk about that, but that is fundamentally changing it. It's no longer a pension, then it's sort of UBI for old people.
Okay, that's fine. But you also did say privatization. And that is something that triggered here. But like I've been watching a lot of hearings about this over the years. And there is a group of Republicans and Republicans alone that want to privatize the entire trust fund. And so they have put in place policies that are making it hard to fund it because they do want it privatized. They don't want it to be a pension system. They don't want the government involved at all. They think our retirement should be done individually through the stock market. And so when you mention privatization as an option, that's not just fundamentally changing it, that is destroying it. There is a difference. And so it's like, I'm for changing it in the way that you just mentioned, or at least having that conversation. Privatization is a hard no over here in my world.
Haven't we seen kind of like if, in George W. Bush's second term, he made an effort to try and put a portion of Social Security into the stock market, and that was derailed for many different reasons. But the last time that I looked at like where we would be had that gone through was like a more robust and healthier Social Security program.
I mean, as long as the entire economy is being structured for the investor class, sure. But that's what we've seen over the past 20 years. And one of the problems that we're having is people are unable to save for retirement because half of us don't have any stocks at all. And those are the people we're most worried about. So it's like, yeah, investing in the stock market as we have structured things has gotten us like 20% returns, which is wild. the nature of the stock market is it doesn't stay that way forever. And so when you do inevitably have the crash, which I do think is coming relatively sooner than later, since so much is dependent on AI, I don't think that that is a safe way to save. Like you're telling us that we need to put our money in 401ks, which is stock market. We need to individually save, what's IRA or whatever, stock market, stock market, stock market. And then you also have your government dependent or your government pension dependent on the stock market. It's too much stock market. We need one thing that isn't dependent on the investment racket.
On the growing engine that continues to power everything.
Jen, I'm not looking to get rid of Social Security. I do want to fix it. I think it's going to involve, like almost everything else in the government right now, some amount of spending cuts and tax increases. It's probably going to involve increasing taxes on folks. But like having some kind of means testing would be my preferred thing there. In the same way that you brought up earlier, that old people have all of the assets, increasing taxes on working class people to give it to all old people doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for me to put higher taxes on somebody that's working to give Social Security to millionaires. So I'd rather have means testing be a part of it.
As long as it's high enough to where you don't have middle income people that are struggling, because that's what we're calling people that have like, hundreds of thousands of dollars rich people. Where I don't think, like, I'm afraid the caps are going to be too low. So that's what I'm afraid of in that conversation. But that is a conversation I'm willing to have. I'm not willing to have this also be dependent on the stock market. That's where my red line is. Like, Social Security will fundamentally change into something that it's not entirely, not by funding it differently, but by having it be stock market dependent. Like, we have to diversify our retirements. It can't all be stock market dependent.
Yeah, I'm a lot more agnostic on this one. My main thing is I don't want anybody in poverty. And I like if it means fixing Social Security and relying on a public system, if it means that we like emulate Australia, which I think is a really good system, I'm okay with either one of those things. I think the going the Australian route is less likely politically.
What is the Australian?
What is Australian?
They have an obligatory HSA, basically. So everybody is like, what we've got in the United States is, what do you call it? I'm not saying it's a Ponzi scheme, but you're paying for other people. Like it's a pyramid, right? Like you're not getting your money. You already gave your money to an old person. You are going to get money from a young person. That's how we do it in the United States. What they do in Australia is you're just saving, I don't know what it is, 10% of every paycheck. You put it into an HSA account.
So it's forced saving.
It's forced saving, yes.
Okay.
Well put, thank you. Singapore has a similar thing where they have it for like retirement and health, and I think maybe you can take it out for one or two other things like college or something. Those make sense to me. I think we would have been better if we'd done that from the beginning. That would have been a better system. And then the other bit is that there's a difference between like poverty relief versus pensions. Like they're different. And like we're going to need something for relief for older people. And Social Security has been very good for that. It hasn't completely eliminated it because, again, it's a pension system. So you don't get any money out of it if you didn't put money into it. But as a savings mechanism, it's worked okay. My overall point is I'm not, this is not one of my neoliberal things where I want to destroy this particular thing. But I am open to like if we could figure out a way to shore it up using some sort of private mechanism.
I've said my piece.
I feel bad for all these like Gen X works of art that aren't going to get the same kind of re-releases. I mean, if all these Gen Xers are just going away, it's ridiculous.
They'll always find a TikTok to whine about.
Like, are Gen Xers on TikTok?
Oh my God, yeah. I've seen so many reels. Well, I mean, I'm not on TikTok. I've seen them on reels. But the Gen Xers talking about just how cool they are. And they were latchkey kids and they're so fucking tough. And they make whole careers out of it.
Yeah. About the like, look at us kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're not wrong pod at gmail.com where you need to go if you want to send an email to this show. We talked about America at 250 on last week's episode. Justin is a coward, writes. We get extra credit for being the best country on the moon, too. So 105% A++. Higher and higher, right? So 107% if you add in the invention of Ecto Cooler.
I liked Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler is great.
What's Ecto Cooler?
So good.
Ecto Cooler was a juice box.
It had Slimer on it.
That was Ghostbusters themed.
Oh, okay.
But it was like, but it was like a citrus. It was kind of like a lemon lime.
Oh my God, I think I dimly recall this from like the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it was
yeah.
like very, very green. So there's no way that there was health food
It was
in
probably
there.
like half sugar.
poison.
Oh, it was just
way more than half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was so good.
There's actually, I wonder if the next time that we're all in Austin and we go to Pins, the Pins Mechanical Company, I know that the bar that they had in Ohio that Pins is based on, they would do an ecto cooler cocktail.
Really?
Because it's all themed like 80s arcade kind of thing. And so like that's the structures of millennial power and art that have been built are all just fetishizing the things that we did in our youth. And there is nothing more in that vein than the barcade where it's like, let's make an ecto cooler cocktail so you can get fucked up thinking about how you had a juice box once when you were 9.
I had a Capri Sun recently. I can't remember where, but I was so excited about it. And I was so proud of myself for getting the straw in the little hole. Cause like, if you don't do that, then you have to turn it over and jam it in the bottom. But I was able to do it the proper way.
I always did anal with the Capri Sun.
Can't put it in properly.
Nope. Jam it in the back. Speared. An unfortunate Justin W. says, I tried thinking about the last 250 years of our species, and I think Justin is unfortunately correct. Just thinking back to World War II, over the last 100 years, America has to be the top 3 world powers in terms of ethics, despite its very severe failings. Our cultural revolution, the cultural revolution in China, Japan's war crimes, Germany, Russia, and the United Kingdom. I mean, the only world power that might be more ethical is France. Okay. You know, the scramble for formerly rape of Africa a few years prior to World War II probably tilts that scale. I think I've come to the conclusion that humans are evil and world history is genuinely really upsetting. I feel like that last sentence, I feel like people really need to internalize.
Yeah.
Like whenever we talk, and there are certain regions of the world, I'm not going to say where, but maybe it would be in the middle of the east of the general global world that people tend to kind of cherry pick the horrifying things that have happened there forever. I would encourage people to continue to look into it. People seem very excited about the region these days. I would encourage further study.
Listener, I think you've stumbled onto a really interesting metric. Like I was using basically net positive, net negative last time we discussed this. What you've hit on, which I actually think is a better one, is when you're judging powers, judge them at the height of their power. When they're at the apex of their global muscle, what were they doing? And like by that standard, yeah, I think we're probably much better than Japan, Germany, the British Empire, most of the other ones, Soviet Union, yeah.
I don't know if the Chileans and Indonesians and Vietnamese and Iraqis, and I don't know if all of them would agree with that, but.
Oh, I'm not saying we were good. I'm just saying compared to other peer powers at their moment of muscle that we were more restrained.
Well, all right, here, from that list, Chileans, Iraqis, Vietnamese. I would say
Libyans,
Indonesians. I would say
Afghanistanis. I mean, there's
what
a lot.
do we do in Indonesia?
So maybe. I mean,
we overthrew their government, installed a dictator, lots of murder.
I missed that one.
Exactly. There's
maybe
so
not,
many.
Maybe not
that
Afghanistan, but I would say every other region you've said is probably better off than they would have been otherwise.
Or you could flip it, like just using the metric of our listener here, is there another great power that was better at its apex than us? Like, I can't think of one.
And also, we spent the next 30 years after that making documentaries and movies and books and famous people and Instagram reels about how terrible that was. Name another fucking country that does that. Sure. Maybe England now. But even like then, when I was in England during my collegiate years, they used to have the British Spy Museum that was fucking awesome because all it was just like totally playing up every military victory they've ever had. And it was just like comical, like ripping yarns. There was like this little theater that me and my friends would joke about it forever of like some desert fox mission that happened during World War II, where the gag was the end of the story was a British soldier behind enemy lines threw a grenade in the German sleeping camp and blew them all up. But he's saying it with the narration is like, so I threw a grenade in the Jerry's bunk and I was halfway back to camp laughing when it went off. It was just hilarious. You go back there now, it's all been sanded down. It's all we would like to apologize very much to everyone that we ever shot at. So it's but it took them a while to do it. We'd been doing that shit since the fucking 70s.
I don't think I'm in Britain a lot. I don't think they feel as guilty about their misadventures as we do. I could be, I know we've got British listeners, feel free to correct me on this. It's just, I don't feel like I'm ever in Britain where I hear the same conversations about hey, before we talk any further, we did enslave people in the Native American gender. I don't hear, I don't hear I agree with Keir Starmer, but let's point out that we did rape India for 300. It's just kind of what I hear from them is we're kind of dinky. There's this kind of they've got Burger King and we've got Wimpy's. We're dinky. It's this sort of self-depreciating loser mentality, but it doesn't have the guilt that we have.
Yeah, we get a lot of guilt, but I think it makes us better.
Sure.
The DSA rocking the establishment mostly just devolved into people emailing in about the argument about economics that happened. Economic Octagon writes, I would pay pay-per-view prices to see Jen and Heaton have a moderated debate about economics. I think it would be extremely educationally valuable. Hold your comments. Fight writes, I'm so desperate for Heaton and Jen to have a debate show with Justin as the moderator. Just go point by point debating Capital, the Marx book. Go point by point debating Nietzsche. Argue for positions you disagree with. Get in the pit and fight. I will support a separate Patreon for it. I will put myself in debt to listen to it. I'll actually finish reading Capital just to listen to the pod. Please.
No.
Do you guys want to read economic books and debate it and have me moderated?
No, that sounds fucking terrible. I think I kind of said it in the last episode, but economics, these are theories. And I find economic tribalism to be just as unhelpful as political tribalism. So when I see a conversation devolve into red versus blue or this ism versus this ism in economics, my eyes just fucking roll and I'm not interested in it. I think that every idea should be judged on its merits and not be dismissed because it doesn't fit into an economic theory. So I don't want to learn about all the economic theories and debate which one is right or wrong because I think that every economy is essentially an experiment. When something works, you stick with it. When something doesn't work, you regulate it. And every economy is doing something a little different based on their population size or their geographical size and so many different factors. So I just think treating it like this exact science and debating the different theories, I'm not going to do that. I don't find it useful. So no, I don't want to do it.
But I like the idea of a structured debate in general. I've done them before. They're fun. I wouldn't want to do a YouTube debate where you're having to jump on the other person. That sounds very unfun to me and very combative. But I've done a structured debate before where you prepare your statement. The other person gets to say their piece and then you respond to each other and it's very civil. And I think it does elevate discourse. I like those. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I agree that you shouldn't be doctrinaire about anything, including economics. If you treat precepts in economics as sacred beliefs and they're like religious totems, you're going to get into trouble. You need to be able to view everything critically and rationally and also assess it empirically. So I agree on that. I don't think a lot of economic ideas are just free floating. We have had a lot of empirical data on a number of things and it's worth looking at the empirical data. There's a reason that most economists don't like price controls, and it's mostly empirical data. But the idea that you should oppose price controls because it's a sacred belief is ill-founded. You should oppose them because they don't work.
Well, and I feel like we already will take an issue because we talk about healthcare. At the end of the day, that is actually an economic discussion. We have discussions on economics all the time, and I prefer to go topic by topic as opposed to, is socialism better than communism? Because then you just spend the whole fucking time trying to define the ism and theories and trying to like, you can always cherry pick. And so I don't want to have a broad debate on whatever economics is, but I think we debate economics all the time already in ways that I am willing to do so.
I would agree.
Does that make sense?
I think that part of where I get frustrated in any kinds of these discussions is that when we do obsess about blueprints and not buildings, that we should, the idea of a thing that something should always work, you shouldn't judge it on that. You should judge it on where it has been replicated and how it works and why it works. And then you should agree on metrics to say, this is it working. This would be it not working. And if you do that, I think it's interesting and constructive. I would say I would stick up for the idea of understanding the philosophies, or if you're interested in this, to anybody listening, to understanding the philosophies more, because they are the basis of these blueprints. They're the basis of these ideas. And I don't think that they are, that you should look at them as judging them as like, well, this is a good idea or a bad idea. You should look at it as saying like, this is where these schools of thought come from. And when you apply them to a modern lens, you should understand where the mechanisms of how they're going to work or why they're going to work.
Yeah, I'll add to that. There's a difference between a precept and a concept. A precept is a belief. Like a precept is free markets work well, or regulation's good, or something like that, right? A concept's just an intellectual tool. The economic concepts that exist are used freely in various schools of thought. Like if I were to bring in a neoliberal economist and a Marxist economist, both of them would know what economy of scale is. Both of them would know what diminishing returns are. Like those basic economic concepts, those are worth knowing. For anybody that cares about economics, knowing the basics, those are very, very useful in being able to assess whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, because the tool set is available for it.
And finally, Get Your Joke Book Clown writes, thank you, Jen, for standing up to Heaton on economics. He's a fucking comedian. Him telling Robert Reich, Elizabeth Warren, and Richard Wolff that he knows better than they do is just bullshit. Heaton claims that trickle-down economics has raised so many people out of poverty, yet 60% of the American population can't handle a $400 emergency. The international criminal corporations lift people from poverty by giving them slave wages to build our shoes, TVs, clothes, and phones. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
I am impressed that a Facebook comment was able to achieve sentience and escape containment. This is very impressive for a Facebook comment. In all honesty, like I'm kind of flattered by that particular message, because you went, hey, you're a comedian. I identify as a comedian. I'm actually like, I appreciate you rightly identifying how I view myself. I'd rather you view me as a comedian that does economics than some shitty pundit quasi-economist that's occasionally funny. So I appreciate that. All that being said, as a rebuttal to your message there, Robert Reich is an economist exactly the same way that Dr. Oz is a doctor. I would put Elizabeth Warren in charge of the economy if our economy ever got too big, and Bernie Sanders is to economics as Stephen Hawking is to baseball. Thank you.
All right. We're Not Wrong is a production of Dog and Pony Show Audio. Our editor is Will Saddleberg. On PX3 this week, the eulogy of Graham Platner's career with Kirk Beto, and then an emerging House scandal with a Arizona congressman who has turned his social media into an almost Bravo TV-esque celebrity-making experience. He has ornately decorated his office in a way that might violate ethics rules, and he is roommates with one of his top staffers. Julie Grace Brufke of Sources Say News joins us on Friday. And then, certainly not because Europe knocked us out of the World Cup, I did a whole monologue about how Europe talking about de-Americanization is a laughable concept that is never going to happen. Keaton.
I've got Brian Dunning on the program this week. You know Brian Dunning?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Dunning is a friend of mine. For people unfamiliar with it, Brian is the host of the Skeptoid podcast. He's a professional debunker, runs a very good podcast called Skeptoid. I brought him on for the main feed episode as pushback to a prior episode I did. I did one with Scott Hodge from the Tax Foundation, and I had a number of people write in and go, hey, Heaton, you fucked up in terms of your analysis of how nonprofits work. You got some stuff like cartoonishly wrong. And I went, okay, let's eat some crow. So when Brian reached out to do the show and he wanted to correct the record on some things, I went, all right, let's do that. So I've got Brian on talking about nonprofits and what I got wrong previously. But then the bit that I really enjoyed is the bonus episode. I had done Prison Week 3 or 4 months ago. Brian is a felon. He was in federal prison for about a year for a white collar crime. And he was like, I would actually really like to talk about that experience. And I had been kind of hesitant to ever ask him about it because I didn't know if it was, delicate or not. He opened the fuck up on the bonus episode. Like we talked for an hour and a half. Like he talks about like when the FBI raided his house and pulled his daughter out from under the bed. Like he gets into it. It's a really, really good conversation. If you've ever wondered what life is like in federal prison, you get the full scoop on that on the bonus episode with Brian Dunning.
Jen?
So last week I told you that I was making a Last Week in Congress episode for the Congressional Dish patrons, and I was doing a video thing, and I had walked DC both the Sunday I was there and then after going out to dinner with Andrew. And I pitched that before I actually finished it. And so I actually had to finish it, which was very difficult because something I thought would take me 3 or 4 hours took me a day and a half.
Damn.
Yeah, all of the software I was using crashed and then I lost stuff. It was a fucking nightmare. But I finished it. And now looking in hindsight at my walk around Washington, I was even happier that I took the time to do that because I did kind of document what I was witnessing. They did have to shut it down because of the heat, because people were passing out because they didn't have water. The giant stage that I show you while they were constructing it, the one that Trump spoke on, which was different from the stage that other people are seeing. That was the one that the panel fell off. So yeah, it's like as I watched the relative shit show that was the Great American State Fair, I was kind of glad that I walked it. And there were also parts of the story that I just don't feel like the media was showing you, like all of the fences around Washington, D.C. It was wild. So yeah, that is done. That is on video. And so if you haven't checked that out yet, please support my show on Patreon. And then right now I'm in the process of reading all of the bills that passed or that got signed into law in June. And so as soon as I'm done with that, I will release it. But I just got to Spain and I had a lot of shit
for the event. They had to clear it out because of weather, and then they had, a pretty significant crowd come back in, at least according to social media.
Well, I mean, they were advertising the firing off of 850,000 fireworks. Yeah. I would imagine that would draw a crowd.
You said last week that it was going to be a disaster and nobody would be there.
Well, I don't think those were my exact words. I said when I was there, there was nobody there, but like it doesn't surprise me that people showed up on July 4th to the fireworks. That's, of course, people did.
Okay. Maybe
I did say that there were going to be problems with people passing out because of the heat, which is exactly what happened. They had to shut it down on 2 separate days. The security lines were stupid long. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the things that I noticed, like they happened.
Okay. All right.
What are you?
No, I misinterpreted you then. I thought you were saying last week that it was going to be poorly attended because of everything that was going on. So I mean the biggest crowd that I saw there was for the World Cup game. That was not your intention to say that. Then that's all I was asking.
I mean, the days that I was there and the people that I had known at that point had already been going for. I mean, the Great American State Fair had already been up and running for a week and a half. It was ridiculously poorly attended, but like, of course, people went on the 4th of July. Like that's not
4th of July was I watched it on C-SPAN. I mean, I didn't watch it live because I'm old and I went to sleep and I had to chase toddlers all day. But like the next morning, I woke up and watched it, and it was 40 minutes of fireworks. That's a lot of fireworks. It looked awesome, and they sang Toby Keith's The Angry American, which I'm very excited is now woven into the permanent history of the United States of America's 250th birthday, including the line, "We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way."
So classy.
But yeah, that was pretty cool.
I noticed that there was so much smoke that by the end of the show, it just looked like the smoke was lighting up. People are saying that was kind of hard to see. And then I'm glad that I got out of there because of the air quality issues they had the following day.
Oh,
it sounded kind of miserable.
The fucking air quality issues. People won't find any reason to bitch. All right.
Wait, hold on. Having extremely unhealthy air and having air quality
unhealthy
worse, that's
air.
just like,
it's like, yeah, everybody gets too focused on this shit now. It's like, you know, we had the exact same level of air quality because of Saharan dust that blew into Austin. It's not gonna fucking kill anybody.
Okay, so the DC residents have no reason to complain about being told to stay indoors for 2 days. They're just being pussies.
Well, yes. I mean, that's mostly my thoughts about DC residents in general. So yeah, we could add that to the bucket.
Okay.
For Jen Briney and Andrew Heaton, I'm Justin Robert Young saying we're not wrong. Those fucking weak-willed DC residents are.
Dog and Pony Show audio.